Hi, I'm Ollie, your friendly owl. Welcome to QuizBrainKids. Let's learn and have fun together.
One of these hunters was even bigger than T-Rex. Let's meet 25 fierce meat-eating dinosaurs. Giganotosaurus. Gig and Otosaurus. Giganotosaurus. Say it with me, kids. Giganotosaurus. Fun fact, Giganotosaurus was even bigger than T-Rex, and its brain was shaped like a banana instead of round. Utahraptor. 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 Say it with me, kids. Utahraptor. Fun fact, Utahraptor was the biggest raptor ever found, as long as a school bus, with a giant curved claw on each foot. Megaraptor. Raptor. Megaraptor. Say it with me, kids. Megaraptor. Fun fact, despite its big name, Megaraptor had huge hooked claws almost 8 inches long right on its hands. Eutyrannus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Eutyrannus. Fun fact, Eutyrannus was covered in fluffy feathers and is the biggest feathered dinosaur ever discovered. Compsognathus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Compsognathus. Fun fact, Compsognathus was only about the size of a chicken, one of the smallest meat-eating dinosaurs ever found. Troodon. 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 Say it with me, kids. Troodon. Fun fact, Troodon had one of the biggest brains compared to body size of any dinosaur, plus excellent night vision. Dakotaraptor. 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 Say it with me, kids. Dakotaraptor. Fun fact, Dakotaraptor had feathered wings on its arms, even though it could not fly at all. Suchomimus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Suchomimus. Fun fact, Suchomimus had a snout shaped like a crocodile and used it to catch giant fish. Cryolophosaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Cryolophosaurus. Fun fact, Cryolophosaurus lived near the freezing South Pole and had a crest shaped like a fancy pompadour hairstyle. Majungasaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Majungasaurus. Fun fact, Majungasaurus had a thick, bumpy skull that it used for headbutting rivals. Ceratosaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Ceratosaurus. Fun fact, Ceratosaurus had a single horn on its nose and rows of bony armor running down its back. Herrerasaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Herrerasaurus. Fun fact, Herrerasaurus is one of the very first dinosaurs to ever walk the earth. Theleophysis. Kilophysis. Kilophysis. Say it with me, kids. Kilophysis. Fun fact, Kilophysis hunted in large packs and was as light and speedy as a running greyhound dog. Acrocanthosaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Acrocanthosaurus. Fun fact, Acrocanthosaurus had a tall ridge of spines running down its back like a sail. Synraptor. 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 Say it with me, kids. Synraptor. Fun fact, Synraptor had rows of small, bumpy horns above its eyes, almost like tiny crowns. Torvosaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Torvosaurus. Fun fact, Torvosaurus had arms so short and strong, they were some of the most powerful of any predator dinosaur. Amazing job. Let's meet a few more fierce hunters before the grand finale. Daspletosaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Daspletosaurus. Fun fact, Daspletosaurus is a close cousin of T-Rex, but with even thicker, more heavily built jaws. Albertosaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Albertosaurus. Fun fact, Albertosaurus could run in packs, chasing prey almost as fast as a racehorse. Tarbosaurus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Tarbosaurus. Fun fact, Tarbosaurus is often called the T-Rex of Asia because the two dinosaurs look so alike. Deltadromeus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Deltadromeus. Fun fact, Deltadromeus had long, slender legs built perfectly for running at very high speed. Neovenator. 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 Say it with me, kids. Neovenator. Fun fact, Neovenator had razor-sharp claws shaped just like curved kitchen knives. Alioramus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Alioramus. Fun fact, Alioramus had a long, narrow snout, totally different from its chunky-faced cousin T-Rex. Eotyrannus. 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 Say it with me, kids. Eotyrannus. Fun fact, Eotyrannus is one of the earliest known relatives of T-Rex, but much smaller and much quicker. Concavenator. 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 Say it with me, kids. Concavenator. Fun fact, Concavenator had a strange bony hump on its back that scientists are still trying to understand. And now, the grand finale, a hunter that worked together in giant packs. Maposaurus. Mapusaurus. Maposaurus. Say it with me, kids. Maposaurus. Here it is. Maposaurus hunted together in giant packs, working as a team just like wolves do today. Wow, you just met 25 fierce meat-eating dinosaurs. You are officially a dinosaur predator expert. Please subscribe to our channel to support us. It really helps us make more videos for you. Bye-bye, kids. See you next time with more amazing videos.